Picture this. You step off a plane, the cabin doors hiss open, and instead of some grumpy customs officer asking if you've got anything to declare, someone smiles, hands you a passport, and says with pride, "Welcome home." Sounds like a wild Netflix series with Morgan Freeman narrating, right? Wrong. This isn't Hollywood. It's happening right now, in real life, across Africa. 2025 isn't just another year on the calendar. It's shaping up to be the year of return on steroids. African nations, once brutalized by the transatlantic slave trade, are rewriting the narrative in the boldest way possible. They're turning the page from chains and displacement to citizenship and belonging. Let's rewind for a second. Over 12.5 million Africans were forcibly yanked from their homes and shipped across the Atlantic during the transatlantic slave trade. Whole villages disappeared. Entire cultures were fractured. Languages, lineages, and legacies were scattered like confetti in the wind. Fast forward 4 centuries, and their descendants now number over 200 million people worldwide, from Harlem to Havana, from Bahia to Birmingham. For generations, this diaspora carried a double weight: the pride of African heritage and the pain of disconnection. Sure, you could visit Africa as a tourist, maybe even trace your roots through a DNA test, but deep down, many people still felt like strangers in the very land their ancestors once called home. Until now, because Africa has decided to flip the script. Instead of saying, "Get in line, fill out these 500 forms, wait 12 years, maybe we'll call you back," some countries are saying, "Your family. Here's your passport. Welcome back." And this isn't just symbolic. It's not some cheesy marketing campaign with nice slogans and no follow-through. We're talking about laws being passed, ceremonies being held, and thousands of diaspora Africans receiving actual citizenship. Not visas, not honorary titles, not tourist of the year. Real passports, real rights, real homecomings. In the past few years alone, over 3,000 African Americans have been granted citizenship in West Africa alone. And in 2024 and 2025, the movement has picked up so much momentum it feels like history is on fast forward. Governments are passing new ancestry-based laws. DNA companies are partnering with African nations. Cultural initiatives are transforming former slave forts into venues for citizenship ceremonies. And let's be honest, when celebrities start joining in, posting shiny new African passports on Instagram, it goes from niche news to global headline. Now here's where it gets spicy. This isn't just about heritage. Oh no. There's a deeper layer. These governments are thinking about economics, diplomacy, and influence. By reconnecting with the diaspora, they're not only healing history, but also tapping into a global powerhouse of talent, money, and networks. Think about it. If even 5% of that 200 million diaspora decided to invest, buy property, or move back, we're talking billions flowing into Africa. But beyond strategy, the emotional weight is undeniable. Imagine standing in a place your ancestors were torn away from, and instead of being treated like a tourist, you're told, "This is yours again. You belong here, goosebumps." So here's what we're going to do. We're breaking down the 10 African countries that are giving passports to the diaspora. And spoiler alert, some of these laws are so groundbreaking, so unapologetically bold, that you'll wonder why more countries around the world haven't thought of it. And because I like to keep things sharp, witty, and binge-worthy, I'm not just dropping dry facts. Oh no. Each country on this list comes with its own flavor. Some are lightning fast, some are steeped in history, some are playing the celebrity card, and some want you to go full cultural immersion boot camp before you get your shiny new passport. So whether you're watching this with your morning coffee, your late-night snack, or while pretending to work at your job, hey, I won't tell, strap in. Because the next 20 minutes might inspire you to trace your DNA, pack your bags, and text your group chat, "Guys, I'm moving to Africa." But before we hit the passport buffet, let's get one thing straight. This isn't a charity giveaway. Africa isn't just saying, "Come get a free souvenir passport." This is a movement of restoration, identity, and strategy. It's about rewriting history in bold print. So do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button like it owes you rent money, smash that like button like you're stamping your passport, and make sure those notifications are on because the countries we're about to cover, they're serving stories you don't want to miss. All right, let's dive in. And trust me, fact number one is so powerful, it made headlines around the world when a global superstar posted one simple caption, "I'm home." If history had a reset button, Benin just smacked it hard. In 2024, this West African nation passed a groundbreaking law that said, if you can prove you're a descendant of enslaved Africans, you can claim citizenship free of charge. No decade-long waitlists, no endless paperwork, just your ancestry and a green light. And then came the headline moment that had the internet foaming. July 2025, superstar Chiara stood in Benin's presidential palace, flashing her brand new passport to millions of Instagram followers with one simple caption, "I'm home." That post lit a fire across the diaspora. Suddenly, thousands of African Americans were Googling how to apply for Benin citizenship, faster than you can say ancestry.com. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about vibes. Since the law passed, diaspora remittances into Benin jumped by 27%. People aren't only claiming citizenship, they're buying land, starting businesses, and pumping life into cities like Porto Novo and Verde. Now, if waiting 6 months for approval sounds like a drag, Sierra Leone is about to blow your mind. Their process is so fast, it makes Amazon Prime look lazy. Take a DNA test, prove your roots tie back to one of Sierra Leone's tribes, and within just 60 days, you could be holding a shiny new passport. And these aren't stiff ceremonies in government offices. They're emotional family reunions, complete with drums, dancing, and blessings from tribal elders. People walk in as strangers and leave crying, hugging, and calling it the missing chapter of their lives. Sure, expedited citizenship will cost you about $100,000, but for many, it's not just a transaction, it's the priceless feeling of belonging. But let's be real. Sierra Leone may be quick, but it's not the OG. For that, we've got to rewind history and talk Liberia. This country was literally founded as a safe haven for freed African Americans in the early 1800s, and its constitution promised citizenship to anyone of African descent. The catch? For years, Liberia had a strict no dual citizenship policy. Translation: if you wanted in, you had to ditch your US passport. For most, that was a deal breaker. Then, in 2022, Liberia flipped the rules and said, fine, keep both. Game changer. Suddenly, Liberia's original promise became practical. Now African Americans are moving back, building schools, reviving agriculture, even stepping into politics. Liberia isn't just handing out passports, it's proving that the dream of returning home never really died. And if Liberia is the founding father, Ghana is the cool uncle who threw the biggest family reunion the diaspora has ever seen. In 2019, Ghana launched the Year of Return, marking 400 years since the first enslaved Africans arrived in Virginia. Over 1 million diaspora visitors showed up, dropping nearly $2 billion into the economy. That's not just cultural pride, that's the most profitable family barbecue in history. But Ghana didn't stop there. In 2023, it granted citizenship to over 500 African Americans and Caribbeans in a single ceremony held at Osu Castle, a former slave fort. Imagine walking into a place once used to chain your ancestors and walking out with a passport. That's not paperwork, that's poetic justice. But Ghana isn't the only country making moves. Guinea-Bissau decided to one-up everyone with its Decade of Return program launched in 2025. And here's the twist: no quick signatures or fast-tracked approvals. You want that passport? First, you've got to immerse yourself in the culture. Learn local languages like Criollo, live with communities, join projects, and study the revolutionary history of Amilcar Cabral. Only after proving you've soaked in the spirit of the nation do you walk away with citizenship. It's not just a passport, it's an initiation. And the result? Diaspora members are walking away not just legally connected, but emotionally rooted in the soil of their ancestors. Gabon decided to play the celebrity card, and honestly, it works. This Central African nation doesn't hand out passports to everyone. It curates them like a red carpet VIP list. Actor Samuel L. Jackson traced his roots back to Gabon, made the journey, and walked away a citizen. Rapper Ludacris did the same. On the surface, it looks like PR stunts, but let's be real. If Hollywood A-listers are suddenly waving Gabonese passports, it sparks curiosity across the diaspora. Gabon's strategy is simple: attract influential voices who can amplify the nation globally. Think of it as soft power with swagger. Not everyone gets in, but those who do bring spotlight, investment, and cultural cachet. Now let's leave the jungles of Gabon and sail out into the Atlantic, where Cape Verde sits like a volcanic pearl. Here's the twist: there are actually more Cape Verdeans living abroad than in the country itself. Yeah, you heard that right. So when Cape Verde offers citizenship to descendants who can prove ancestry, it's not just generosity, it's survival strategy. Prove your lineage with birth records, genealogy, or DNA, and you could be holding a passport within months. Diaspora remittances already keep the country's economy afloat, so reconnecting with overseas Cape Verdeans means more investment, more stability, and more growth. And with its political stability, vibrant culture, and killer beaches, Cape Verde is basically offering paradise with paperwork. But from sunshine and stability, let's shift to something far heavier: healing. Senegal is home to Gorée Island, and if you've ever heard of the Door of No Return, this is where it stands. For centuries, enslaved Africans passed through that door, never to see their homeland again. Today, Senegal is flipping the script, calling it the Door of Return. Through honorary residency programs and special presidential decrees, African Americans and diaspora Africans are being granted pathways to citizenship. Festivals, cultural exchanges, and ceremonies bring thousands back each year, many walking through that same door in reverse. The symbolism is profound. Chains are gone, passports are in hand, and what once was a place of departure is now a place of reunion. From Senegal's historic embrace, we fly east to Ethiopia, one of Africa's oldest civilizations and the only nation never colonized. Ethiopia holds mythical status in Pan-African history, revered by Marcus Garvey, the Rastafarians, and Black consciousness movements worldwide. And while Ethiopia doesn't hand out automatic passports, it does offer the yellow card, a residency permit for people of Ethiopian origin. This little card unlocks most of the rights of citizenship, property ownership, business opportunities, and permanent residence. For many African Americans tracing lineage to Ethiopia, whether through DNA or oral family history, it's a powerful gateway. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's buzzing capital, is now home to thousands of returnees, mixing ancient roots with modern opportunity in tech, culture, and commerce. And finally, let's land in Kenya, the rising giant of East Africa. Kenya is already known as the region's economic hub, but in 2025, it started exploring a heritage-based citizenship pathway for the African diaspora. Pilot programs have already granted nationality to a handful of African Americans after DNA verification and cultural immersion trips. The move is part of Kenya's ambitious Vision 2030, which aims to tap diaspora expertise in agriculture, tourism, and especially tech. For returnees, Kenya is the jackpot: world-class wildlife, a booming economy, a vibrant cultural scene, and a government that's actively building bridges with the diaspora. If Ghana gave you the party and Liberia gave you the legacy, Kenya is promising the future. And there you have it, 10 African countries turning history on its head and saying, "The door is open, welcome home." From Benin rewriting its past with free ancestry-based citizenship, to Sierra Leone handing out passports in 60 days, to Liberia reminding us it was literally built for returnees. Ghana threw the biggest family reunion with its year of return, while Guinea-Bissau makes you earn it through cultural immersion. Then we saw Gabon using celebrity passports as global PR, Cape Verde reconnecting with a diaspora larger than its own population, Senegal transforming the haunting door of no return into a door of return, Ethiopia offering its yellow card as a bridge, and Kenya building a future where heritage citizenship powers its Vision 2030. This isn't just about paperwork, it's identity, strategy, and healing rolled into one. Imagine millions of diaspora descendants investing, creating, and belonging again on African soil. That's not just symbolic, it's world-changing. So here's the question. If you had to pick one of these passports, which country would you choose? Drop it in the comments. Smash that like button like you're stamping a passport, and subscribe, because the next story might inspire you to start packing.